Hey everyone, so today is a very, very awesome day that I am very, very happy about because I own a tool now that I have wanted longer than I've been into rocks, and I'm so excited. It's amazing. I'm so happy. Because, my friends, I bought a lathe. Lathes are my favorite woodworking tool. I love them so much, and I finally own one, and I am so happy about it. So excited. I'm sure this is honestly probably going to see the most of its use on my second channel, but that being said, there's some really, really cool stuff we can do with a lathe when it comes to lapidary and rocks and stuff. So I thought a good way to start introducing, the lapidary side of lathes would be to make some wood inlay rings. That is, as in a wood ring with stone inlay. Also, I'm sorry if it gets noisy throughout this video. I leave for Florida in about 6 days. Actually, I don't know what my upload schedule is gonna look like, but this video will probably come out while I'm in Florida. Therefore, I am like doing a bunch of videos right now, so the saw will be running. I'm sorry. So, you're gonna need water, wood veneer, which is literally just like thin, super, super, super thin sheets of wood. I think this is cherry if I remember correctly. Something to wrap it around, and a hose clamp. Also, cyanoacrylate, or really any extremely thin super glue. First things first, we're gonna take our veneer and we're gonna soak it in water. And what this does is it makes it more flexible, which is something that needs to happen. It has to be flexible. It's already fairly flexible, but you need it to be able to wrap around. So we're gonna soak this, get it nice and wet. Now we're gonna take our thing to wrap around and wrap it around. You will then wind up with this. Split a little bit on me on this side, but that's okay. We can actually work around that. I was gonna have to cut it in half anyway. So now we take our hose clamp and slide that on and tighten it. Now I'm gonna wrap this in paper towel and let it dry. Those are gonna take a little while to dry. So in the meantime, why don't I show you the other way, which is just take some wood. You can use any wood. I just happen to have these big old dowels laying around, and I thought that would be perfect. And let's head over to the lathe. Alrighty, there you go. We have our little shapes made. One sec. Sorry, saw was about to drop, so I figured I'd wait for it instead of talking over that loud noise. So, as you can see, each one of these can turn into a ring. The thing about the veneer is that it's easier, more accessible. More people can do that because all you need is wood veneer, hose clamps, glue, and a drill. This is a little bit less accessible because you need a lathe to do this, but look at how many more rings you can get per go. So now that we have it to this point, I'm going to take this point and we're gonna come in right into the centers and just carve out a little track. I know there's a bunch right here. I'm definitely not gonna make all of these today. I'll do that on my own time. So let's just focus on these two. This is spinning, I am going to, sorry, should have had this prepared beforehand. I'm going to take some black paint, and we're just going to, actually here, I should probably come from this direction. And now these are ready for stones. So, the other ones are dry, so let's go do the thing with those before we come back to these. I got a bad roll on this one. It was a little bit loose and just popped out in some of the places, probably because I'm impatient and didn't let it soak long enough. So I did another one, and this one is much better. Much, 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 much better. So, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna take this, and we're gonna flood it with CA, because that is going to soak into the veneer, same way the water did, and make it much, much harder, but it will also make sure that it keeps its shape. I use CA because it's like instant cure. And we can take off our hose clamp and get the inside Don't put in too much at a time, because you can just end up gluing the veneer to whatever you used as your shaper. Don't ask me how I know this. And now this is ready to go to the lathe. And I'm thinking for our stone, we're gonna use some opals. I need to find my tweezers. I have gotten many questions from all opal lovers out there as to why I like Wellows so much, because apparently I'm the only one that likes working with them. And here's the thing about Wellows. They like to fall apart, they like to craze, they can be very frustrating to work with. But one person's frustration is another person's opportunity. I'm sure everyone that has worked at Wello before knows the horror of making a beautiful cabochon and then watching it slowly crack over time and fall apart. Nice big Wellos, sometimes if they have a fissure, I'm sure you've seen on Pulitzer Opal's videos, you can literally pull them apart with your bare hands. And it's oddly horrifying and satisfying at the same time. Well, when that happens to me, I never get upset, because this is just fuel for wood inlay rings. This one I actually probably could make a cabochon out of. I'm probably going to put that one back. But these are all pieces that have broken off from other Wellos that I was trying to cab. Like this whole little thing right here is just, expired Wello opals. So they're great for this. Every time I have a Wello break on me, I never get upset, because it's just like, oh, okay, there's a wood ring waiting to happen. Next step, we have to take these beautiful opals and crush them. All my fellow opalholics out there may want to avert their eyes. And there we have a pile of very colorful crushed opal. So this is ready to go. Okay, so we've got our crushed opals. We have our blanks made. So I'm gonna take some of this stuff, just gel super glue, and I'm going to lay some glue down in this little slot, just to put a little bit across there. Take something and kind of spread it out a little bit. Don't worry if it goes all over the place, because it won't matter shortly anyway. We're gonna take our crushed opals and we're gonna pour it onto this piece of paper. Take another piece of paper, because I don't want to lose these opals. We're gonna put this right here, and I'm gonna start pouring them on. Now that that gel layer is down and we've got our base layer of opals in there, I'm coming back and I am topping up the low spots. And then, sorry, I'm trying to get this one little spot right here. There we go. And we come in with the CA and do one little drop. Alrighty, and now that the glue is cured, we just come in with a diamond file and we'll level that off. There's method number one. They're very, very pretty and easy. Instead of coming in with a Dremel and hollowing the ring out like that, with the beauty of this is while it's all still like this, you can actually come in and drill the whole thing if you have a drill press. I don't have one here. I feel like waiting. So it doesn't take that much longer to just hollow it out on its own, but that is very, very, very pretty. There's some very flashy opal in there. Problem though, you see how it's kind of cloudy in certain spots? That is because I crushed it unevenly, and I probably introduced a little bit of sawdust because I didn't clean up the bench before I started crushing up opals. So we're going to do it differently with the second method. Hopefully that'll correct that. Either way though, very pretty, very easy, and simple. On to the second method, which was actually the first one you know what I mean. I'm hoping I can get 2 out of that blank. If not, you won't see this clip, but we're gonna make a slab of this stuff because I do have a plan if we can get a second ring out of it. All right, so I trimmed it off, and I do believe we'll be able to get 2 out of it. It's pretty thick. So next thing you'll need is a dowel and a big old wad of paper towels. I guess really you actually only needed a tiny wad of paper towels. I'm gonna compress this up like that so that I can stuff this in there. Like this. And that's really just gonna like kind of make it more of a wedged in there so it's not just like free spinning. And then it doesn't matter, we're gonna cut it off anyway, but we're gonna just lightly glue the paper, and that is gonna kind of lock it in place so it's not wiggling around while we're lathing. Oh, I always forget how CA reacts with paper. Oh wow. Oh, it's still going. And now I can start turning. Same thing as last time. We're gonna do opal for this one, but we're doing something different for this one. So I guess let's go do that first. The thing we're doing differently on this one is I'm actually gonna use tiger eye as the inlay. And that requires a little bit of different work. So let's get it ready. So basically here's the plan. We have to get rid of this. We'll trim all of this out. So we'll basically be left with a gold tiger eye ring, which we will then cut into sections so that we can attach them onto the ring in the inlay. If you look, I actually intentionally made a trench on this one the exact width of this slab. So counterintuitively, it will not be this that is showing on the ring, it'll be that thin edge. So actually I need to trim this down first. So I guess let's do the opals first because I need to, trim this. And my trim saw broke, so I have to do it on the slab saw. Well, it didn't break, it just, the cord isn't, I need to fix the cord, is long story short. Actually, never mind, that only took like 2 minutes. One more thing I'm actually gonna do with these two before we start though is stain. Alrighty, we have our wedges made, so now we can pop them in. So, let's start putting the stones in. Okay, so this one is going to need to go to the flat lab just because this stuff is really, really hard, that tiger eye. The opal we can do with the file so it can stay on here. It's dang near almost cured already, so... Alright, let's do this. Change my mind, I'm just gonna do both on the flat lap, because why not? So I've got good news and bad news. Bad news, I may have dropped the gold tiger eye one and then stepped on it and it is broken. Good news is I have another one here at the shop, so I can show you what it's supposed to look like if you're not a doofus working, trying to do 4 things at a time when you should be focusing on one and step on the project that you just spent 3 hours working on. Well, there you have it. That is how you make wood rings on a lathe. Cool thing about the veneer is you actually don't need a lathe for the veneer. You can actually make these rings on a drill. I used to use a drill to make them. The lathe just makes it a little easier. And it's so frustrating. I forget every time before I do a video that OPAL is a nightmare to get good footage of. It's really hard to capture. There is just so much color across all of these, and they just look like white little lumps on the camera, but man, these things are just insanely rainbow. Also, you can do this with pretty much any rock. OPAL is probably the most common just because it can be crushed and flares on all cylinders still, but this method specifically, you can do this with any rock. In fact, I've done it a lot with labradorite, and that is beautiful. I love that so much. And if you get different types of veneer, or if you have a lathe, you can use different types of wood. Like the options are just limitless. There's so much fun to make. If you guys want, I will very happily make one on labradorite, maybe using something a bit darker. I think I have some Coca-Cola left from my last project. But yeah, they're so pretty. I love the way they come out. They're so much fun to make. Oh, now you can kind of see the OPAL flaring. That's so frustrating. Anyway though, and yeah, it's different. Like, I love silversmithing obviously, but sometimes making rings, you know, I want to mix things up, and this is a great way to do that, and they look so good, especially if you're someone like me who loves wood. I had no intention of making that sentence rhyme, but here we are. But yeah, these are just so much fun to make. I mean, I've used OPAL, labradorite, tiger eye, both red, actually all three, red tiger eye, blue tiger, and gold tiger eye. I love doing it with pearl, like abalone and stuff. Like, it's just fun. It's just downright fun, and that tiger eye looks so good. I love it. So frustrated that I shattered the other one. Alright guys, well that is going to do it for this one. Like I said earlier, when this video comes out, I will be either on my way to Florida or in Florida. I'm not sure when this is coming out. Anyway though, so yeah, look forward to some fossil hunts and calcite and just other stuff. It's going to be good. I am very excited to be able to actually film some hunts again, because it has been November since I last went on a rock hunt, and I am dying slowly. Let me know if you guys would be interested in seeing more inlay rings. That was like the bare minimum. Like, that's wood inlay rings easy mode. You can do so much more with them. They're just so much fun to make. Like metal rings with wood and stone inlay, those are fun. I like doing those. I'll have links to stuff up in the description. I don't know when this video is coming out. I'll either have a new video on the second channel, or you should totally go watch the one from last week, because I'm so happy about it. Seriously, just look how awesome this boy is. But yeah, thank you all so much for watching. I'll have another one next week, and I'll see you next week.